Hey everybody, this is Mark Lindberg coming to you from sunny Brisbane. Actually, it's a little bit cold today. Welcome to my webinar. This is the free training for the Photo Business Reboot course that I'd love you all to join. But I know a lot of photographers out there are struggling at the moment. So I'm going to give you a free training here in this webinar. Hopefully you get a lot out of it. Hopefully it gives you the knowledge and a few tools and a few ideas of how to restart your business. So let's get started. Okay, so this webinar is for photographers who are feeling stuck, uncertain, and need help restarting their business. If this is you, you're in the right place. Hang in there with me to the end because there's a whole bunch of really great information, and I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey today to discover how to free yourself from some of the things that might be holding you back in your business. So look, what are we going to do? I'm going to introduce myself in a minute, tell you a little bit about who I am. We're going to have a look at what's happening out there. The world's a little bit crazy at the moment, and this industry has always been tough. Okay, so then we're going to talk a little bit about getting into the right mindset, reducing stress, reducing any anxiety that you've got, how to get motivated, how to create certainty in a world that is quite literally very uncertain at the moment. We're going to look at some planning fundamentals and how to set yourself up for success. Then we're going to get into the really good stuff. Part 2 is where I'm going to hopefully smash some of your false beliefs about the industry and break through some of the mindset blocks you may be having to generate the kind of clients and the kind of wealth that you want in this business. I mean, let's face it, most portrait photographers are absolutely broke, but don't let that fool you. This industry is a good industry if you know how to market yourself. There's a few tricks, a few simple tricks that a lot of people just don't understand, and they don't work in your business. I'm going to show you those exact strategies, those exact tricks today so that you can start implementing them into your business right now. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the truth of our market. We're going to look at the two different types of marketing that are available to us as photographers. I'm going to show you how I define my ideal client in my studio, because it's a really good thing to do. Understand who it is that you're selling your photography to, and then we're going to get into the good stuff. We're going to build a sales funnel and a client experience from scratch, and then we're going to figure out how to develop that message, how to talk to our ideal clients, and get our marketing out there in a way that gets us the clients that work for us. Okay, and then we'll to wrap it all up, and I'll show you how to structure an ad in Facebook to start feeding people into this marketing system, or this funnel, if you want to call it that. Okay, so the first thing that my mentoring service is all about is being brave and speaking from your heart. Literally what I'm doing right now. This isn't scripted or anything like that. That's probably why there's a few ums and ahs. But look, if you do nothing more in your marketing, then step up to the plate, show up, be brave, be prepared to be a little bit vulnerable, and just speak from your heart. Allow that passion that you have for the photography that you take and the business that you want to build to spill out of you, and let the world hear that. That's the one thing that's going to differentiate you from your competition. Like, when your potential clients are out there and they're shopping around, they're looking at all the different options, and they start looking at price, you need to give them something else to consider other than price. And what the other thing that they're looking for is they want to find somebody that they trust and they like. And we tend to like and trust people that are able to be a little bit vulnerable and speak from their heart. So that's a really great way to get started. The other thing that I love to talk about is this idea that everything we need is within us right now. We live in a world that tends to we tend to look externally for all of our answers, when really all of our answers and all of the motivation and all of the things that we need to do are inside us, in our physicality and our spirituality and emotions and our emotions and in our mind. Everything starts with this idea and with this big feeling, and we have these in us all the time. We just don't believe in ourselves enough. But if we allow ourselves to really let the truth sink in, that everything we need is within us right now, then you're going to find resources and ideas and in an energy level that will set you up for success. Okay, so let's have a quick look into talking about success, a path to success. Quite often, when we're running our business, we have this plan in our head, and quite often it's like the top diagram here. Nice straight line to the straight path to the finish line. And in reality, it's a really bumpy road. There's a lot of challenges for us to tackle, even when times are good. Let alone in a post-COVID world. I'd sort of imagine we're like the little dude there in his boat getting across the river, and we've still got some big challenges ahead. So you need to develop all these tools to make sure that you still get to that finishing line. Okay, so who am I? Who is Mark Lindbergh? Okay, I'm going to make this really quick because I've been in this industry for a very, very long time. I'm a second generation photographer. I was born into the business. My formative years were literally in a photography studio working with my mum and dad. I thought I was pretty cool by the time I got to 23, as most of us do at that age. And I went out and I started my own photography business. And thank goodness I had some really great mentors and great guidance from my family and from the circle of colleagues and everything I was surrounded with, because I got given a lot of really great tips, and I was successful from a very, very young age. And then I traveled. I worked in studios all over the world. In the UK, I ended up in corporate America, working for a really large scale photo operation, turning over millions and millions of dollars worth of photography every year. I met my wife, and I left the corporate world and we started a photography studio in Sydney that we did very well with. It was a portrait studio, and we went on to sell that. We started a second studio in New Zealand, and that's still running today. And we've also got beautiful images here in Brisbane. On top of all that, I run a mentorship consultancy, helping photographers run a better business from boutique right through to large scale. So that's a bit of a summary from me. And why should you be listening to me? Well, I've been there, done that. I've built businesses, I've sold businesses, I've run multi-million-dollar businesses, right down to mum and pop shops. And I've been through tough times and great times, and I've figured out how to survive, not only survive, but also thrive in this industry. Okay, and I want the same for you. All right, so let's have a little bit of what I call a checkup from the neck up. Right now, we're living in a very, very confused world. It's a world where our trust has been negatively impacted. We've had to close down our businesses. Some of us are relying on government stimulus just to stay alive. And, to say these are unprecedented times is the understatement of the century. Now, I think a really, really good place to start with how do we handle all this is to really just get into the feeling that this wasn't our fault. It's we haven't the austerity and the hardships that we're facing in our businesses at the moment weren't because we made some disastrous decision or did something wrong. It was forced on us. It wasn't our fault. Okay, so and I'm bringing that up because I think it's really, really nice to just have a moment where we take that backpack off our back and just go, yeah, this was not our fault. And once we've taken that breath, we need to face up to this one truth. And that is, from here on in, how we respond is ours. We own it 100%. So we need to, at the same time as understanding that none of this was our fault, how we react to it right now totally is our responsibility. So we need to this is a great starting point in our mindset so that we understand the responsibility that we have to take massive action right now and make some really great decisions to set ourselves up so that we can continue to survive and thrive in the future. Okay, so what's happening out there? It's a hell of a lot of uncertainty. We've had the COVID pandemic, we've got lockdowns and austerity, we've got threats of second waves. We're all worried about who's to blame, and there's all sorts of geopolitical things going on with this that we're tuning into in the news. There's trade wars, cold wars, protests, social division, social distancing. So what does all this mean? It really means that we are facing a huge amount of uncertainty, and that as individuals and as communities, our trust has been negatively impacted. So, with that said, I think as we move forward in our business, we need to sort of set a target. What are we going for? Are we going for revenue? Are we going for bookings? We're chasing the dollar. We definitely want people to pay us attention so that we can start converting them into bookings and turning those bookings into dollars for our business. But before we do all of that, I think we need to have a really good look at how we are creating trust between ourselves and with potential clients out there, because I think trust is going to, it always has been. Trust has always been the currency that we deal in. People are going to book you because they trust you. But more than ever, I think, either consciously or subconsciously, our communities and the people in our communities and the people around us are looking for anything that displays some sense of trust. And so what I want you to encourage you to do is to have a look at the way you're communicating in your marketplace and in your community, and figure out how you can become more of that trustworthy, attractive character. Okay, so having said all this, I'm going to give you some stats, right? I'm going to give you some stats right now and some information. These are some texts that I've received from clients over the last few weeks. So this is all post-COVID. So this is in the world where, there's a lot of austerity, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I know a lot of photographers are hurting, and there's a huge belief system that says nobody's wanting to spend money on photography at the moment. But if you're doing it in the right way, if you're marketing in the right way, and you're building that sense of trust, and you're handling your business with a sensitivity to what's going on in the world, you can still create really great results in your business. This was a text from a client from mine. You can see the date there. It's the 2nd of June. She sent me a text saying, yay, last 3 sales, 1,250, 950, and 2,450. So, and I think all those sales happened in 1 or 2 days. So she literally made nearly $5,000 from her photography, from restarting a business from cold once the restrictions were lifted. This is my favorite one. I received a text and a phone call for this one, and it was, to cut a long story short, it was, a friend and a colleague of mine that did a $12,000 portrait sale, and so that really lifted everybody's spirits to see that there was still that kind of value put on our industry. Now, in my own studio, we've just recently done our first portrait sale in the post-COVID world, which we're very excited about, and we managed to generate just over $1,400 in that sale, which is good. It's not up to our usual average sale, and yes, I think that if times were different, this client perhaps would have spent more, but I'm showing it to you, certainly not to brag, but to let you see that people are spending. And so hopefully that's the first belief that I'm managing to just smash for you, so that you can say, actually, yeah, it's true. People are spending money in our industry right now, but they're not going to spend it with you if you're sitting down moping around. You've got to get out there, take some massive action, and put yourself into your marketplace, with trust, kindness, love, and all that good stuff to get these kind of results back into your business. Oh, okay. Um, I didn't slide in there. This was a email I got from my dad, and I wasn't going to put it in the presentation. I don't know why, but I'm glad I have. But anyway, here it is. I accidentally left the slide in there, so it's meant to be there. This is a email I got from my dad saying, "Hey, this is my last portrait shoot, and as you can see, I'm still in demand. $800 sale." Now, I received that from Dad on the 27th of June, so, just not even a week ago. Now, what makes this amazing is my dad's 92 years old. So, um, pretty amazing, right? So, if you're sitting there making a lot of excuses why your business isn't working right now, then really time for the checkup from the neck up. If my 92-year-old father can do it, so can you. Okay, let's keep going. Part one, setting yourself up for success. Okay, so what are we doing? What are the actionable strategies that we're taking to set ourselves up in uncertain times? Well, the first thing I encourage everybody to do is to protect your business and protect your assets. Go and talk to your financial advisor, your accountant, solicitor, whoever it is that you use to get advice and get checkups for your financial matters. Go and make sure that you sit down with them, talk to them about what's happening, and pick their brains and make sure that they understand what's happening in your business, because they're going to have ideas and a whole different viewpoint on things, and you might be really surprised at what sort of value they can bring into your business right now. Okay, so make a time and go and get that done. The other thing is, right now it is perfectly normal to feel completely uncertain. Quite often we give ourselves a hard time and we think, oh, why am I feeling like I am? Well, actually, let's just say that a little bit of uncertainty is actually the new certain as we move forward. Okay, now the next thing we need to do to create certainty as we move forward and start taking action is we need to have a plan. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect, but we do need to make a plan. And my favorite thing when I'm making a plan is to keep it simple, and use my calendar to make sure that I'm staying accountable. So I always make a plan and I map it out on a calendar and literally put my action steps day by day on a calendar, and I just make the commitment to whatever comes up in my calendar is what I do next. Okay, so let's drill into that a little bit further and figure out what we're doing with, how do we make a plan, planning fundamentals. So I always start with the end in mind. I set a realistic goal and I get very, very specific on a completion date, or when this is going to be, when my plan will be wrapped up. And then I literally create a set of actions that need to happen and I map them out on my calendar to suit the completion date. This will help you stay accountable and will help you manage your plan as you work through it. And then also it'll help create a little bit of perspective as you move through it. Not, as you might have, your plans change, right? So, but you want to be able to stay on track. So, how the goals that you set at the beginning of the plan might alter a little bit halfway through. So you need to be able to adjust accordingly, just to stay on track. So, for an example, for some of the goals and plans you could be creating could be to, and this top one here is what I'm doing in my studio at the moment, grow bookings and sales to at least 50% of the volume pre-COVID lockdown before 1st of September 2020. You could make it really simple. Secure one booking by 5 p.m. at the end of this week, or talk directly to 3 potential clients and book them before 5 p.m. Tuesday next week. The simplest plan that you could put into action right now is emailing your database or emailing your past clients, just saying, hey, how's it going? And asking them for a referral as you restart your business. So whatever it is you choose to do, keep it simple. Keep it realistic and use your calendar to help yourself stay accountable. Okay, so how do you set yourself up to make great decisions? My favorite thing at the moment is being very, very selective with the news that I watch. I definitely want to keep an eye on what's happening in Australia and New Zealand and in the world. But I watch select media channels because there's so much hysteria and hype that we're being bombarded with. And if we get caught up in it, it can really skew our mindset away from some of the things that we need to be focused on. And at worst, it'll affect our mood in a negative way, and we will not feel motivated as we should to do the things we need to do to make our business really happen. Okay, the other thing, if you're struggling with this, I highly recommend going online and just Googling critical thinking course. There's tons and tons of them out there, and do one. I've done a few in the past, and it's a wonderful way to use logic to figure out what is most likely true. So if you're struggling with all of that, it's a really great technique to help yourself use your own mind to figure out what's actually going on out there. Okay, so here's the good stuff. Part 2, getting your message out there. So let's start with a cold, hard truth. I know this is meant to be a bit motivational, but we need to look at the warts and all. We need to rip that Band-Aid off and have a look at our market and what's really going on out there. So the truth is the number of people searching for your service is much lower than what you need to build a business. There are more photographers in your area than there are clients searching for them. Now, what I suggest you do is go to google.com/trends and familiarize yourself with that platform and start looking at how many people are searching for photographers in your area, whether that be baby photographers or portrait photographers, wedding photographers, and you'll start seeing that the trend is actually very, very low, particularly when you do a comparison to search for photographers to something super popular. Like, for example, at the moment, a month or two ago, there weren't many people out there searching for Black Lives Matter. But recently there's been a huge spike in that search term, and you can do a comparison using things that, I'm using Black Lives Matter simply because I know that a few months ago it wasn't a big thing that people were searching for, but now it is. And so you can actually see on the timeline in Google Trends how that sort of compares to how many people are searching for photographers, and you will find that there just isn't a lot of people searching for photographers. So what do we do? This all sounds doom and gloom. It's not. Just because there aren't a lot of people searching for what we do at the moment doesn't mean to say we can't get out there. We just need to understand the way to do it. Okay, so let's get back to some basics in marketing. In marketing, there are two types of marketing, two ways to get yourself recognized. First is search, and that's when a warm to hot audience is out there actively searching for the thing that you do. Or you can be proactive and use interruption based marketing, and that's where you're going out there and you're putting in the effort to convert a cold audience into doing what selling your product. So with search, it's what I call hope, and it's great if there's lots of people searching for what you've got. Okay, so that's kind of things like SEO, hashtags, traditional media, where you put your message out there and you hope that enough people give you a call, or hope that enough people book you. Unfortunately, what I've found in the photography industry is that kind of marketing is a little bit hopeless. It doesn't get the results or enough results to make your business successful. So we're kind of forced to be doing interruption-based marketing, and a lot of photographers, I don't like to interrupt people, but there's a nice, there's kind of an aggressive way to interrupt people. And there's also a service-based way to interrupt people. So aggressive would be a promotion where you win this, you get this is on sale, buy this deal. Whereas a service-based interruption method would be more about, helping your ideal client, or, you stand for something and you're putting your message out there and you're looking for like-minded people who will, join your cause and make the epiphany that, oh, wow, okay, I see what they do. I wouldn't mind doing that, and things like that. So the service-based interruption is a much softer way. It's kind of like the less cringy way of putting yourself out there. In my studio, I use both. I'm not shy to do aggressive marketing or service-based marketing. Service-based marketing does tend to attract more qualified leads and bookings into the studio. Okay, so the general rule of thumb is, if there's a lot of people searching for your product, then 80% of your resources can go into search. If there's not a lot of people searching for your product, then that flips around. So for photography, we are low search, so we need to be putting 20% of our resources into search-based marketing and 80% of our resources into interruption-based marketing, and we can choose either aggressive or service. So, have a look at what you're doing now and see if it matches this. If it doesn't, I strongly advise you to make the change. Okay, so let's talk about ideal clients. Now, what I've done here is, instead of if you join the Reboot course, then we're going to drill into this a lot more, because it's actually a lot of fun figuring out who your ideal client is, and there's a lot that goes into it, because it sets the pace, it sets the foundation for everything else that we do in our business. So for us in our studio, our ideal client sounds something like this. She's lived a life and has seen both setbacks and success, and has come through much wiser for it. It's been a while since she's put herself first, but she is coming more and more in touch with her freedom, and she is keen to spread her wings. She is interested in quality products and experiences that connect her to a sense of purpose and legacy, more so than flashy things with a use-by date. She is a modern woman. She knows she can have what she wants if she goes after it. She may be married or not, or perhaps on husband number 2. She is a mother and has done her years of self-sacrifice and putting everyone else first, but she is now more independent of that role. Her children are grown, and she is likely a new grandmother, or soon will be. Within both her family and her tight circle of friends, she carries a lot of mana, respect, and influence. She embraces her own style of femininity and knows her own strengths and resilience. She will spend without hesitation, and has the money to do so if the service, product, and experience truly speak to her. She is likely 45 to 55 years old and is finally ready to embrace who she is today. Okay, so that's an example of who our ideal client is for my studio. And it's different, and it'll be different for every single photographer out there. And the purpose that the reason that we put so much effort into figuring out exactly who this person is so literally when we go out and we do our marketing, we are literally talking to that person. We know who they are, and we can have a conversation with them, and we can use the language that resonates with that person. And therefore, when we go out and do our marketing, we put our message out there, it resonates with like-minded people, and therefore we attract more people like that into our business. Okay, do we always get exactly that person? No, not always, but you'd be really surprised how often we do. But we always get people that share similar beliefs and similar values, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so how are we doing all of this? Okay, so we figured out that we need to be doing interruption-based marketing. We figured out that service interruption-based marketing is the less cringy way to go. We figured out our ideal client. So we figured out we're going to interrupt. We figured out who we're going to interrupt. And now, once we get their attention, how do we take them from attention to a sale? How are we getting there? So I'm going to show you a diagram now that maps out that path from attention to sale. All right, so let's have a look at this. So this is what I call, and again, if you join me on the Reboot course, we're going to drill into this. We're going to design this specifically for your business, because this model will be different for every single business, every single photography business that we apply it to. But in a nutshell, you can see at the top of that funnel there's a whole bunch of people out in the world, and hopefully some of them are our ideal client. And we might be at an expo, we might be doing some social media marketing, whatever it is, but we're putting our message out there and we're attracting people into our funnel. We're getting their attention, and as soon as we've got their attention, boom, they're into our funnel, and we're trying to hook them in to be interested in what we're doing. So we might figure out a clever headline or a clever activity that we're doing that they can relate to, that builds their attention into interest. And once we've got someone's interest, we can tell them a bit more of a story about what we're doing, and then we will have their consideration. Once we've got a client's consideration, we can then make them an offer so that they can evaluate on and figure out, hey, is this something that I want? And if we're doing a good job of our hook, our story, and our offers, we take our clients through this journey of attention, interest, consideration, and evaluation, we're going to get a booking. Some of those people are going to pop out the bottom of our funnel as qualified booked clients. As you can see at the side of that funnel, there's a few little people that have dropped out. Obviously, not everybody that comes into the top of our funnel is going to pop out at the bottom as a booking. Some will leave in between, and that's where we can use things like two-step order forms and Facebook pixels to retarget them, because sometimes a no isn't a no. Maybe it's just a, hey, not right now. And if we are able to retarget to these people when the time is right, then we're going to convert them into bookings as well. And then what we're going to do in the course, we're going to then figure out, what do we do once somebody is booked? We've got to start doing some value building. We've got to take them up our value stair. And during the pre-consult, the photo shoot, the viewing, the reveal, whatever you call it, all of the steps that you take to get your client to the final sale, what are the things that we're doing and saying, and what are the experiences that they're having, so that they understand more and more and more and more value, they experience more value from us, and then associate more value to the photography. And at the end, they'll spend more money on the photographs that they choose. And then the final thing we want to do once we've sold our photography to a client, we want to keep that client, but we also want them referring us and putting people back in to the top of our funnel. So join me on Reboot. We're going this pretty much, once you've got this mapped out, this is your business. And once you know how to work it, it just becomes, kind of like I say, rinse and repeat. You just do it again and again, and you just have this constant stream of well-qualified, great clients into your studio. Okay, so let's get back to this is a slide where I'm just giving you a few ideas here on how to be in service to your ideal client. So remember, we said we want to get we need to be doing interruption based. We're going to choose to do service-based interruption, and that means we've got to get away from that, hey boy, have I got a deal for you, or win this and get a free photo shoot. Although those techniques are really good, and we're going to drill into all of those and learn all of those techniques in our in the Reboot course as well. But for now, for this webinar, I figured we'd go down the service oriented, less cringy way of marketing your business, because that's, I think, a lot of photographers want to learn that. So, a great place to start would be to have a blog. Maybe if you're a newborn or baby photographer, you could have a blog, and you could interview a nutritionist, and then that would become an interesting story. And then you would create an ad, create some marketing. You create an ad where you'd be driving, the ad wouldn't be, the headline wouldn't necessarily be, get your baby photographs done. The headline might be, learn how to eat to get your body back. And you hook their interest, and you take your potential client through to your blog post where you're interviewing this nutritionist, and they're getting all of these ideas, and then at the same time they're getting an introduction to you as a photographer, and then they make the leap like, oh wow, okay, newborn photographer, yeah, I've got this. You've given your potential client value, and now they're looking at what you do, and then you're able to make an offer or hook them into maybe, or make them an offer and get them into making a booking. Okay, so depending on your genre, depending on who you are, there's a ton of different things that you can do to add value and be in service to your client to get them considering you. And the nice thing is, when you do this really well, they're not just considering you on price, they're considering you on other terms of value, because you've already reached out and given them a value that's not necessarily monetarily related. Okay, so anyway, in the Reboot course, we're going to drill right into this. We're going to figure out your whole strategy of how you do this for your business, and then that's going to be kind of your go-to way of reaching out into your community and finding, getting people's interest, and not just anybody's interest, but people that value what you do. Okay, so we're getting close to wrapping it up here. Here's a step by step. Just to recap on what we've been talking about. First thing you need to do is define your ideal client avatar, figure out your attention, non-cringy way of building interest, and then you want to build out your client experience and your sales funnel, and then simply start an ad campaign, sending people into your funnel, and then working your funnel. Okay, so how would you do all of this? The basic structure for an ad campaign: you set a timeline and a budget for your campaign. So you've set up your funnel, you've set up your whole system. Now you're going to go out there. Maybe you're at an expo that runs for a weekend, and you're getting leads and feeding people into your funnel that way. Most of us are using things like Facebook and social media and doing advertising that way. So the steps there really are: take your attention getting thingy and create a story around it. You really need a great story, whether you're using a blog or whether you just got it in your head, and figure out how you're going to talk about this exciting opportunity or the service-based thing that you're going out into your marketplace with. You create some headlines with it. This is kind of the short, snappy things, whether it be something that you're saying or something that you're writing, or images that you create. It's something snappy that hooks people in. And then you simply write a few media posts, design a Facebook ad and business manager, you boost your organic post, you publish your Facebook ad, and you start sending people into the top of your funnel. And then you just work your funnel and work your client experience. Make sure that your retargeting is all set up so that you're not letting any bookings fall through the cracks. You want to have a great referral program, which on the Reboot course, we're going to show you how to do all of that. And then once you've got this down, you literally just rinse and repeat as many times as you need, or with the budget that you need to meet the goals that you have in your business, however many bookings you want or how much money you want to earn. So hopefully today I've added some value for you. Hopefully I've motivated you to get out there and take some action and put yourself out in your marketplace in a way that builds trust and shows your community that you're in service to them in whatever way. The most important thing is to take some action and get moving in your business. Now, if you don't want to go it alone, like I've said throughout this webinar, you can join my course. It starts on the 10th of July, and we're going to pretty much do all of this with you and for you. You're not going to have to, it's going to save you a ton of time. Literally being there with somebody that's done it and knows how to do it and is able to come up with a lot of great ideas specific for your business. So here's what you're going to get. We're going to map out your marketing calendar for 6 months. That's a $297 value normally. We're going to build out your personalized client experience and sales funnel, complete from getting a client's attention right through to the final sale. This is normally a $1,297 value. We're going to figure out how to master your unique message, which is kind of like mastering your the story, the thing that makes you unique and compelling in your marketplace. And it's going to show you the ways to get your message out there so that you're not always competing on price. And so you'll be able to control how you compete on price and as you move forward. Now, normally that's $997 value. We're going to look at your pricing structures. We're going to price for profit so that you can confidently talk about your value with absolutely anybody. That's normally a $497 value. We're going to define your ideal client so that you know exactly who you're talking to in your marketing so you can become super targeted. And this one thing, doing this right, is going to save you a ton of time. Now, that's normally a $297 value. We're going to build an entire Facebook campaign to suit your specific sales funnel and your business. That's normally a $997 value. And then this is one of the coolest things that we do on the Reboot course. We're going to discover your center of power so that you can access your inner strengths anytime to get you through any challenge. Now, this is probably one of the biggest confidence boost you'll do in your business. And I'm really excited this is a part out of all of the stuff I do in our course. This is the thing I love the most. Now, that's normally a $497 value. On top of all of this, I'm going to give you 2 hours of one-on-one mentoring with me. That's normally $397 per hour. And to cap it all off, I'm offering a money-back guarantee. So if you implement the changes in your business and don't see positive change, then no questions asked, just money back. Okay, so that's a total value of over $5,000. Oh, I nearly forgot. Also, remember in the webinar I said I got a message from a friend and colleague who said, hey, I just did a $12,000 sale. Well, they happen to be one of New Zealand's top photographers. And during the course, we're going to have an exclusive VIP event where you're going to be invited and partake in just a very intimate one-on-one with this photographer and fantastic business owner. And you're just going to be able to pick their brains and figure out what are they doing to achieve results like that in their business. So don't even know how to put a value on that, but that's included in the course if you want to join me. So I'm going to deliver over $5,000 worth of mentoring and coaching value to you. It's a money-back guarantee, and we've got a one-time reboot special of $1,997 for singles, but if you bring a friend, you can save $600. Okay, so hopefully I will see you on the course. It starts on the 10th of July. Have a look at the messages below. There's buttons up there. There's buttons below for you to book in. If you've got any questions, message me or just give me a call and we'll figure out and we'll see you on the course. Thanks so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you. Good luck out there.